Y'all can go ahead and turn to Genesis chapter 19. That's where I'm going to be. Genesis chapter 19. And while you're turning there, I have a question. Okay? Now, I don't want this to be, if you have any parents in here, just be honest. Okay? So how many of you can raise your hand and say that you have to learn things the hard way? You've got to experience it. You've got to crash and fail. You've got to experience and crash and burn. Experience it and learn the hard way. Okay? It's okay? So how many of you can raise your hand and say, I like to watch them make the mistakes, and then I learn from that. How many can raise your hand and say, I learn from watching other people make mistakes? Okay, so that's some of you. So more people crash and burn than watch other people. How many can say, basically, you just don't learn? Is there anybody that just doesn't learn in general? Okay, so there's some of you do. There's more than that learn from other people. Okay, so growing up, I had a sister that was older than me. I think I said a little bit about her before. And so she got in high school before I did. And basically, she could not do anything without getting caught. I mean, she couldn't sneeze the wrong way. She couldn't do anything without getting caught. In 5th grade, she made some bad grades, and she threw them in the trash can. And of course, her teacher found them and called my mom up. And it was a big to-do because my sister had tried to lie to everybody. She one time snuck out of my grandmother's house because, you know, that was a safe place because grandmother would sleep all night long. So, of course, my grandmother, being the sweet lady that she is, gets up in the middle of the night just to go check on her grandchild, and she's gone. She snuck out from the house, so of course she gets caught. One time she was going on a trip with her chorus, did something bad. Her best friend told her mom what she did that was bad, and her mom was good friends with my mom, and so of course she found out. She always got caught for everything. Myself, I didn't necessarily learn not to do the bad thing, but I learned how to not get caught most of the time at the bad thing, okay? So hopefully what we're going to do tonight is we're going to look at a lady, and we don't know her name, but we're going to look at a lady tonight, and I hope that all of us can be the kind of person tonight that can look at her mistake and then learn, okay? So we're not going to be non-learners. We're going to try not to be crash and burners. We're going to try to learn from mistake and then do better, okay? So turn to Genesis chapter 19, and where we are in this place is Abraham has had some angels come to visit to say that he and his wife are going to have a baby. And of course, Sarah's old, Abraham's old, and they said, there's no way we can do this, we're old, whatever. And so the angels come and eat with Abraham. All this happens, and then they let him know that they're about to go and destroy Sodom, and destroy Gomorrah, and destroy the cities around there because they've heard of all the terrible things that's going on around there, and they're about to destroy it. Now, what Abraham knows is that his nephew Lot is in Sodom, or at least he's the gatekeeper in Sodom. So he knows this, so he's fearful for his family. So he begs them, and he says, and he comes to the Lord and intercedes, and he says, please, if there's only 50 good people, will you please spare them? And the Lord says, okay, if I find 50, I'll spare. And he goes, well, since I'm asking, if you just find 45, will you spare? And he goes, okay, if I find 45. Does this sound familiar? Have you ever bargained with anybody? This is what Abraham's doing. So then he says, okay, since I'm asking, please don't be upset at me, but if there's only 30, he goes, okay, there's only 30. So he goes down to 20, now he's down at 10. Final straw is, if I find 10 good people, 10 righteous, I'll spare the city. So he's on his way, and they go, and the angels go into Sodom, and Lot sees them. He's the gatekeeper there, and he invites them to his house, and while he's in his house, this is where we're going to start up in chapter 19, okay? So this is where I'm going to start reading. Okay, it says, I'm just going to start verse 1, and I'm not going to read the whole entire verse, but a lot of it. Okay, chapter, but a lot. It says, that evening 2 angels came to the entrance of the city of Sodom. Lot was sitting there, and when he saw them, he stood up to meet them. He welcomed them and bowed with his face to the ground. My lords, he said, come to my house and wash your feet, and be my guests for the night. You may then get up early in the morning and be on your way. Oh no, they replied. We'll just spend the night out here in the city square. But Lot insisted, so that at last they went home with him. Lot prepared a feast for them, complete with fresh bread made without yeast, and they ate. But before they retired for the night, all the men of Sodom, young and old, came from all over the city and surrounded their house. So you're seeing all the men of Sodom have ganged up. I can imagine it's in the night, so they probably have their things of fire or something so they can see or whatever. But they came and they've surrounded his house, and they shouted to Lot, "Where are the men who came to spend the night with you? Bring them out to us so that we can have sex with them." And this shows you what kind of, if you're not familiar with Sodom and Gomorrah, they were a very ungodly place. This is where there's a lot of homosexuality going on, a lot of bestiality going on. There's any kind of sexual sin, any kind of just pleasure that you want to have, whether it's right or wrong, you have it in this city. And these people have come around and they've noticed these two men, and so they're like, wait a minute, there's some fresh men around here. We want to get a hold of that. So Lot steps outside the door to talk with them, shutting the door behind him. "Please, my brothers," he begged, "don't do such a wicked thing. Look, I have 2 virgin daughters. Let me bring them to you, and you can do with them as you wish. But please, leave these men alone. They are my guests and under my protection." "Stand back," they shouted. "This fellow came down as an outsider, and now he's acting like a judge." They're talking to Lot. They're saying he's an outsider, but now he's going to judge us. He's been here. He's been participating with us in some way or another, but now he's going to judge us. They said, "We'll treat you far worse than those other men." And they lunged towards Lot to break down the door. But the 2 angels reached out, pulled Lot into the house, and bolted the door. Then they blinded all the men, young and old, who were outside the door, so that they gave up trying to get inside. Meanwhile, now remember what the angels are here for. What are they here for? They're going to destroy Sodom if they don't find, how many? 10. I had only one hand up. 10. Meanwhile, the angels question Lot. "Do you have any other relatives here in the city?" they asked. So they're trying to find out about anybody that's righteous. "Do you have any other relatives here in the city?" they asked. "Get them out of the place. Your sons-in-laws, daughters, or anyone else, for we're about to destroy the city completely. The outcry against this place is so great, it has reached the Lord, and he has sent us to destroy it." So Lot rushed out to his daughters, fiancés. "Quick, get out of the city, for the Lord is about to destroy it." But the young men thought he was only joking. So he thought maybe that the son-in-laws would be righteous, but obviously they're not. In the dawn of the next morning, the angels came and said, "Hurry." They said to Lot, "Take your wife, your 2 daughters who are here." So how many people was that? 4. So they've only found 4, so they've decided to destroy. "Take your daughter, your wife, your daughter, and 2 daughters. Get out of here right now, or they'll be swept away in the destruction of the city." When Lot hesitated, the angels seized his hand and the hands of his wife and 2 daughters and rushed him to safely outside the city, for the Lord was merciful. When they were safely out of the city, one of the angels ordered, "Run for your lives and don't look back or stop anywhere in the valley." Now remember, he says, don't look back and don't stop, okay? "Escape to the mountains or you'll be swept away." Oh no, my Lord," Lot begged. "You have been so gracious with me to save my life, and you have shown such great kindness. But I cannot go to the mountains, because disaster would catch me up there and then I'd surely die. See, there's a village nearby. Please let me go there instead. You don't see how small it is. Then my life will be saved." "All right," the angel says, "I will grant you this request. I will not destroy the little village, but hurry, escape to it, and do nothing until you arrive there." Lot reached the village just as the sun was rising over the horizon. Then the Lord rained down fire, burning sulfur from the sky on Sodom and Gomorrah. He utterly destroyed them along with the other cities and villages of the plain, wiping them all out all the people and every bit of vegetation. But Lot's wife looked back as she was following behind him, and she turned into a pillar of salt. And so I was thinking, there was a time that Lot hesitated. He hesitated, but yet the angel says they literally took their hands and led them out. So there was a little bit of something in Lot that was kind of off, but it says that she turned around and she just turned and looked. And she was turned into a pillar of salt. And I got to thinking, why did she turn? And what made it that she turned into a pillar of salt? And I got to realizing that the reason why she was turned into a pillar of salt was not just because she was just disobedient. It's because she had a heart problem. And that's what caused her to turn into a pillar of salt, because her heart, when she walked away from the city, her body left,